Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
It's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On Hot 702.5fm.com.
Tune in now on Hot 702.5fm.com.
Yeah. Jones, hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
Yes, all right. That's right. Icy Jones, the rap for Greg Deville. Let's talk real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. That's right. Listen, it's a Thursday afternoon. I'm Greg Deville. So excited to be back with you once again live on the radio, hot702.5fm.com. This is what we do every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. I have my friend, oh man, one of my preferred lenders, Miss Alicia Taylor's on the line. Hey, Taylor.
Hello, everybody.
So glad to have you, Taylor. Listen, we going right in. You and I have done radio for years. We know, cut to the chase, right? Just go right in. Listen, I understand there's some new product, and who else could share it today but you?
Yes.
Go for it. Tell me what we're working with.
First of all, thanks for having me on the show. But yes, let's get right in. So, everybody's heard of bank statement loans, right? You know about bank statement loans. You can use your deposits to purchase a home. If you're self-employed, we don't need any tax returns. That's been going on for a while, but I always like to bring it back to the forefront because we might have somebody listening that doesn't know.
Right.
Most recent 12-month bank statement deposits, personal bank statements, will give you 100% of whatever you deposit. 100%. Business bank statements, 50 to 70%. So it's really important to know that. So if you're a beautician, a barber, Uber driver, a rideshare driver, and you're getting those bank statements, that's your business account, will give you 100% of what you deposit. So
100%.
What people don't know, what they don't know, is that you can use bank statement deposits to get a second mortgage.
This is the part. This is the one.
This is where it gets big, right?
Yes.
So you got your first mortgage on your house. You know you want to buy a new house. You got that great low rate on your first.
Right.
If you've been in that house for a while, you got Greg Deville out there looking, and you want to buy a new home. Where do you get that money? You use those bank statement deposits to get a second mortgage on your existing home. That's
bank statement
that a lot of people aren't aware of.
Okay. Good. Bank statement deposits.
Take the money out the house that you're in.
Yeah. Up to 80%. Up to 80% still? 90%. Look at this. Look at this. Go for it. Come on.
So that's the new piece.
Feed me.
Up to 90%, depending on your credit score.
Of the appraisal value. Of the appraisal value. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now
Give me more.
Take that money and go take that $100,000 and go put it down on that duplex, that triplex, that fourplex.
There you go.
Or that property you want to go live in.
That dream home.
Upgrade and move to a new home.
Yep.
But you want to keep the home you already have and use it as maybe an investment. Maybe you want to put your kids in that house. Maybe you want to put your mom in your older, smaller home and buy a new fabulous home for you and your new spouse. So there's just so many different things.
Existing spouse. Yeah. Which not your new boo, with your regular boo. Yeah. We ain't endorsing not on my show. Don't say we got an idea from Greg DeVille's show. No, from Alicia Taylor. That was Taylor.
That was, you're getting married for the first time. Your new spouse, your first spouse. That's what.
Okay. We're getting a new home now. Again, so 90%. Let me understand. And I can use bank statements. I can use the bank statements of deposits. But is that entrepreneur? Or is that a W-2 as well?
So you can use your W-2's pay stubs and go 90% on your regular job if you make enough money. Bank statement deposits are only for self-employed or combinations. Maybe your wife is self-employed and you're a W-2, or vice versa. Or maybe you're both. Maybe you have a job at the school district, but you also have your own cooking business, or you also drive Uber, and you use both deposits and your W-2s.
Oh, they have a side catering business.
Yes.
Whatever that side business. You do hair on the side. As long as you're filing taxes, though, right? You have to be.
You have a business license.
You have a business license, of course.
Bank statements. So whether you filed your taxes or not is not my concern. You may not have filed yet. You may not have filed 21 or 22, but you do typically file. You're going to need either a business license to prove you've been self-employed for 2 years, or you need your accountant to give me a letter that says, hey, Greg DeVille is self-employed. He owns DeVille Realty, and he has been self-employed for 2 years. That's it.
Okay.
Now let's talk about this in practicality. Does it really work? I just closed 2 of them. Just closed 2 of them.
Okay.
One person got $150,000 out of their home. Self-employed. Bank statement. Barber. Use that money to open a new business.
Right. Okay. Use the equity to open up. So that's another way we could do with the equity in our home, up to 90% to start that business. Start that business.
Business.
Okay. Now, when we talk about,
might be buying homes, right? You may be buy and sell.
Yeah, buying, flipping homes. Now, let's talk about the VA. What's right now VA? Are we still looking at what's that max? Because I've been asked the question. What is VA max right now?
So, there is no VA max.
There's no VA max.
People don't know that. VA max went away years ago. So if you don't own, the only time loan limits come into play when you're a veteran. If you've had previous foreclosure, so some of your entitlement is used from VA.
Okay.
Or you have more than one VA loan. If you're using your VA and the house it is you want to buy is $1 million, you could do $1 million with no money there.
$1 million with no money down and own a house.
Know that.
Own a house.
Owner occupied and go get you a jumbo $1 million property with no money down.
So now 1 million, maybe they're not there financially to afford $1 million. I know we're talking to the millionaire, but let's say somebody's at the next home is at $550,000-$600,000. They live in the 300 now.
They can do no money down all the way up to those numbers. So 350, 450, 550.
So if they're at their home right now that they own is appraised at 350. How much of that? How much can they borrow now? Can they, even though they're at the 350 what they own? What can they borrow to now?
If it's in Vegas, they're going to most likely have to put money down because it's only a 25% entitlement. So depending on if the house is already a Vegas home and you're buying another one, you may not be able to get enough money to do no money down. You have to come up with some money. You may need 10% down.
So is it okay that I take the take that out of a VA loan, put flip it into a conventional? Is that what I should do?
Refinance it into conventional.
Refinance it. But then when I
100%.
But when I refinance, I'm gonna get that newer rate because I'm at a 2.25 right now. So when I refinance it out of a VA to conventional, am I gonna go up on that new rate? Is it gonna give me this 6.5 now?
It's gonna go up. It's gonna give you the new rate. But what you can also do is you're a veteran, and depending on the amount of house, so that doesn't mean you can't get another house. You just may not be able to get as much house as you want without any money down. So just keep that in mind. And
or I can
also
sell.
have the ability to go FHA.
Okay. Or I could sell the VA home, and the next day, I learned this from you. The next day, I could use my VA to go get another home, taking the equity from what I sold, putting that $300,000 on the $700,000. Now I'm only financing $350,000, so I can do that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and you
good
can
stuff.
do that with a score as low as 580, even 500, honestly. But it's so hard to qualify that low.
Yeah.
But the VA doesn't have a credit score requirement.
Okay, but the lender may have. The lender's the VA is the insurer, but the lender may say, "Well, I can't." And so, if someone is low, below the 580, let's say 560, what are some of the requirements that they need to jump through with that low score?
So the main thing that you're going to have happen to you when your score is below 580 or even below 600 is you just can't have any lates in the last 12 months.
None or one? None or two?
You can't have any. No
can't have
lates
any
in the last 12 months. Right.
But if I'm renting,
that's your credit. So that's your credit cards, your car payment.
Oh.
Nothing can be late in the last 12 months. That's over 30 days late. It shows on your credit.
Okay. So people need to know, don't pay after the 30th. Pay before or on the 30th.
Exactly.
Do not wait to, matter of fact, the 29th. You could pay it before the 20th. Just don't let it go past 29 because that's another month. Yeah, yeah. And so if they've had a late within the last 6 months, then they should wait 6 months, and it'll be clear from the time you were late. Okay, I hope somebody learned something.
And I want to make this clear. You can have lates in the last 12 months and still use VA. But usually when your score is below 600, it triggers as a manual underwrite. So I don't want people to try to figure out themselves that they can't get a loan. You call a professional, you call Mortgage Solutions, you call me. Let us run it and we'll tell you. Because a lot of veterans, Deville, we put a lot of veterans in houses with 560 credit scores. They
Yeah. But the letter, I know a couple, we had lates and in the red every month in their bank account. So Miss Taylor has pulled off some miracles. She's the walking Jesus of the day in the loan department. So at the end of the day, because I only have so much time with you, I know your time is valuable. So now, how can we talk conventional for someone? Can we do a 3% conventional? What are the requirements for me to get a 3%?
So that was going to be my next thing. So you can do 3. People always think I can only do 3% conventional if I am a first-time home buyer and have never owned a home before. That is not the case. You just can't own a home when you close. So if you sell your house and buy a new one, you can do 3% down.
Okay, so it's predicated on me selling the house.
Right. You cannot have 3% down and keep your home. You'd have to go
keep your home. So if I wanted to keep the home
for a single homeowner, yes.
Okay, so if I wanted to keep the home and rent it, I need to do is that a 5% conventional?
5% down.
That's 5%. Yeah. Okay, 5% down. I can keep the house and rent the house and have double equities growing.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, all right, good stuff. Now, I want you to say one more time before we go. Time is limited for you. Give me that one more time for somebody just tuning in to be clear of what you're saying about taking that equity, that 90%. I want you to say that to me one more time so that I can go ahead.
Whether you're self-employed or if you are using your bank statement, you can go up to 90% of the value of your home and get a second mortgage on that property. So you can keep the low rate that you already have on your first. If you're self-employed and you haven't filed your taxes, but you're putting a lot of money in the bank every month, whether it's your business bank account or your personal bank account, you can use either. So I want you to know that. And the thing I want people to remember is I can use my bank statement deposits when I'm self-employed to buy a house, pull money out of my house, get a second mortgage on my existing house. You can use those bank statements to do anything that a person with tax returns, W-2s, and pay stubs can do now.
On a bank statement.
The most important piece, on a bank statement loan. Take that equity out of your existing house and use it to put down on your next home, your dream home, your investment home, your home in another state. Maybe you want to get a place down south near your family. Take that equity out of the house you live in here and buy one there. Okay.
Use it for some residual income, such as triplex, fourplex, and so on and so forth. But using that, so is that what they call the HELOC, the home equity? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, a HELOC is a line of credit.
line of credit.
A second mortgage. So you get
you're getting a
the money
second
at once. You're getting a second mortgage with all the money at once. Now you can do HELOCs, but not with bank statement deposits.
Okay, good. Okay, good. This is doing a second mortgage, and my first mortgage is going to stay at 2.5% where I'm at right now. The second mortgage, even though it might be 6 3/4, but it's only on $200,000 or 300, whatever
or
equity,
150 or whatever that magic number is. And the rates are significantly higher on the second. So you're going to be just under double digits or right at double digits, but you can pay it off whenever you want. There's no prepayment penalty, and it's stretched out over 30 years. So you're getting $100,000 over 30 years. You're still going to have a very reasonable payment.
So it's almost fair to say use it for an investment property because you're going to get that second mortgage payment and the new mortgage payment at a higher rate. So it's almost good to use that money towards residual income.
That's a good way to use it, or to use it to step up. Because you're going to get residual income if you rent your house out, too. Yeah,
but that's basically covering the mortgage on that house. But I'm getting 2 payments now. I'm going to get that second money that I'm taking for equity, and I'm going to get that money that I'm paying on the mortgage. So, okay, all right. Well,
and
for me,
I can give you a perfect example. I just talked to a lady yesterday who has, because you got to think, there's a lot of people, Deville, sitting right now in $800 mortgage payments still. Her mortgage payment is $800. She's getting a second mortgage payment. It's going to run her $700. She's going to have a $1,500 payment on that house. It's
on the first house.
On the first house, 4-bedroom house. She can ready to go rent that house out for $2,200 a month.
Right. Make 5 on that.
Over there,
yeah.
And then buy the house of her dreams now.
And then put that leftover money from that mortgage onto the new mortgage, and so her mortgage is smaller. Yeah. Got you. Okay.
And she wanted to pay off all her bills, so she would walk into the new house debt free. First and second, pay off all of her bills, cover her down payment on the new house, make money on the rental, and walk in with no other bills. She's even paying her car off because she had that kind of equity in her house.
Got you. Yeah. So those of you who are listening to Miss Alicia Taylor and Greg Deville show, if you have great equity, now they can contact us to find out how much equity they have. I'll give them the phone number to contact me. I'll do a CMA. No upfront cost to you, right? List that property or put it up for rent. Now, do they have to have a rental agreement in place before we close, or is that mandatory as part of this?
So on the purchase of the new home, they'll have to have a rental agreement in place for the home that they're vacating so that they can use the rent. It doesn't have to start, of course, until they move, but they do have to have a rental agreement in place. And I'm sure you know enough renters calling every day. There's always somebody that needs a place to rent. Right. I just need to make sure when I explain that they will have to have the renter and the agreement and the deposit, right? They need to see the check. Yep. They need to see the application. Right. Okay. We don't need the
good stuff.
We just need the rental agreement and the proof of deposit.
Well, that's what I mean. The rental agreement. Yeah. Okay. The rental agreement and the deposit, that the money has been deposited. They're ready to move in when you move out.
Yes.
Do they have to be ready to move in? If I'm closing on the 15th of September, they have to move in by, they give them till
November 1. We usually 60 days. So
within 60 days.
Because most people don't get out that day. They take a while to get out and get into the new place.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Taylor, I know our time is far spent. I know you have other appointments. So listen, thank you, my sister.
I
appreciate you much. We're going to run it back again on our Facebook Live, and you have a wonderful say hello to Mr. Darwin and little Taylor for me. And say hey to Mom for me. Tell Mama I said hi, okay?
And tell Marquetta I said hello, and thank you guys for having me. You know how to reach me, Mortgage Solutions. Give us a call if you have any questions.
Will do. Take care, Taylor. Thank you again so much for stopping by. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, Las Vegas. So you heard it from Greg Deville show with Miss Alicia Taylor, Mortgage Solutions. So again, just for clarity's sake, you have a mortgage, you own a home, your interest rates are low, but you have a great amount of equity. Using that equity, keep in mind, using the equity towards a residual income, or maybe buying that home of your dreams simply off the equity that you have. The equity that's in that home can be used toward benefit. You can either, one, as Ms. Taylor forementioned, you can use that equity to go into residual income, or somebody says, I don't need a 6-bedroom home anymore. You want to downsize, but you want enough room. You want a 3-car garage. You just want an open concept floor plan. You don't want a 2-story anymore. You want to downgrade what they call ranch style home. You want a backyard. You want land. You want a swimming pool, perhaps. Right? The equity in your home is taking out a second on your home, not touching the first, making that interest rate higher, but leaving it right there. And while you're leaving it there, take this loan, and you got the bank statement loans, which is good as well. So those of you, to my entrepreneurs, as she aforementioned, barbers, whatever you do, then you're an entrepreneur. You got a caddy, Frankie D's. You guys know my friend Frankie D. Frankie's got that barbecue pit rolling, man, smoking. And Frank's everywhere, man. You know, he's on Decatur at that Costco's right there on Decatur in the 215 on Saturdays. And go by and visit Frankie D's. Tell him you heard from the Greg Deville Show. Listen, I'm telling you, the food is, man, Frank is, get them tips, man. I don't know about you, but I love them rib tips, man. But listen, using the equity that's in your home. I talk to a lot of buyers to get you in the home. The benefit of getting you out of that rental is get you to start creating wealth through equity. Because as Ms. Taylor mentioned, now that you have that equity, what do? I like my home, but I really would like to have this about my home, and I would like to have that. So why not let's consider renting out that home, and now what are you going to do? Take that equity. Now, as she mentioned, you will have to have a tenant before the 60 days once you close, but you will have to have the tenant prior to closing, because the mortgage or the lender wants to know who's going to rent the house to free you of that mortgage payment. So remember, the mortgage payment that you would have is now taken over by the tenant, which is now freeing up you from making that payment, right? Now, you're not making that payment. You're free. So you're going to take this line of credit, or not line of credit, that's the HELOC. But she's talking about just doing a second. Now, the interest rate, as she mentioned, is a little bit higher. But that's okay, because now you rented your home. It's paying the mortgage on that. And it has more income coming in off of the rental that helps you pay towards your new mortgage. But now, again, if you want to use a second mortgage, not refinancing the first, it's called taking a second on the house. Taking that second. Now, again, you're not going to get the rate you have on your current mortgage. As many of you know, we're between the 6s and the 7s right now when it comes to interest rates. But don't let that paralyze you from going forward into having the home of your dreams. Let's find a way to be creative, right? Creative in getting what I want. So if that means I need to buy a duplex or a fourplex to create that residual income and wait another 5 years in my current home, now I've got multiple income, because I'm now going to rent my home plus the fourplex, right? Now I've got 5 rental properties. I'm an investor. I'm able to use the income from the fourplex, right? Because it's creating income. And guess what I can do now? Now I got equity on 2 ends of the spectrum. So I'm able to do a second, right? Not the home equity line of credit, although you can do a home equity. It's up to 80. But what Taylor's saying is you can go up to 90%, which is giving you a bit more finances, right? So this is creative. This is very genius, right? With helping you. That's why when you hear me, you know, this will be our 8th year on radio, sharing the information about families owning a home. You know why I've been on this rant about owning? Because there's so much potential when you own a home that gives you leverage. That home is now leveraged. Because the landlord, you're giving him leverage on your dime. So when the landlord goes out, he's doing what you're capable of doing. You're capable of doing it because you own the home. But because you don't, this is what your landlord is doing. And so now you've been there 5 years. He's built enough equity off of you paying the mortgage that he does a second on the house without your permission, without your acknowledgement. He could do what he wants. You're just a tenant. And if you don't pay next month, you're just an out tenant, right? Because remember, your rent's due by the 3rd. But if you get into a mortgage, it's not due until the 15th. In fact, you could pay it on the 29th of the month as long as you don't pay it past the 30th. Because now it's going to count for a 30-day late. So keep in mind, veterans, you can get in under 600 credit score. You can get in. You just can't have a late on a credit card, any payments for 1 year. So that's another benefit. But as long as you're above that 600, we can get you into a home ownership, because we are today talking about owning a home and having leverage because of ownership. There's rights to having ownership. There is privileges in having ownership. We took our property monies out of our property to just pay. We were fine with the home. We just wanted to pay some things off. We didn't want the credit card expenses. We owned all the cars, so we lightened the load of debt. So maybe you want to take a second out just to clear some debt, right? Now, again, remember, it's up. You can get up to 90%, but keep in mind the rate is a little bit higher. Getting a second, but if you're using it to be creative, like I said, like Taylor was saying, use the money towards something that's benefit, that will create income. Because I don't need to get out of debt with this money. I need to create some residual income to cut the debt down, because they're going to help me by having more income. You're not making enough money on the job. So what do? Take the equity out the house, pay down some debt, and put down the rest of the money on something else. Maybe a duplex. You can rent or you could rent the house, take the money and put it on another home of your dreams, downsize, upgrade, upscale, what have you. Again, veterans, let's not forget, take the opportunity that's available. I know you love, here's the thing. People love the house they rent. They got it decorated, and it's hard to see you starting over. But I'm going to say this to you, which I recently heard from another gentleman, that his landlord, after 10 years they've been renting, has decided to sell the home. Now it was nice of him to say, we will give you the first right of refusal, but you got to give me what I want for the house. What is that? He wants whatever that number is. Now, granted, you've been there 10 years. Landlords don't count that. You've given them a lifestyle for the last 10 years, but if a house is worth $600,000, what would make you sell it to him for $550,000? It's worth $600,000. So he's not thinking about the benefit you've given him over the years. Hey, I'm not just giving you 50, although you've given me 150. I'm not cutting 50 off of my top. Landlords just don't think like, at least many have, at least very rare have I seen land. Now, I've sold homes where tenants have lived there, but they were able to qualify at market value. And the little difference that there was, the seller did give a credit. It's not capable of happening. However, it's just not something that we see a lot when landlords' value is more than what the person allows as far as the loan. So if you only qualify at $550 and the house is at $600, so the landlord says, well, I want $600, and so he's not willing to eat the $50, and so you'll end up having to move, and he goes and finds someone who gives him the home for $650. So again, this is the benefit of owning your own piece of the American dream, having your own home, having your own piece of the pie, because now you have leverage to do other things. Now you want to keep the house 4 or 5 years, build enough equity, pay down enough principal so that there is enough equity, and take out that 90% second on it. Taylor was just giving us 90% seconds. Now that's good stuff. I'm excited to hear that. Right? Because again, I want to encourage you to chase your dream. Now, if you ask my opinion, I think residual income is far greater than just getting another house. I think stay where you're at another 5 years. You like it. You love your home. Stay there another 5 years. Take that second out of it and put it on something residual, something that's creating more income. So now you got a fourplex. This is what I'm telling you, the investment real estate. Now, somebody said, well, I don't want to manage property. There's enough property management companies out there that will do it for you for 5, 7, 10% monthly, right? Whatever the rent value, you maybe get somebody to do it for 7%, right? Now, again, put a home warranty on it, so the home warranty takes care of any, things that may occur on the property, right? You got insurance, you got home warranty. It eliminates the stress of things going wrong. Right? So keep in mind, there's benefits to ownership. Now, I want to talk to those of you because I just closed yesterday on a client who, unfortunately, the forbearance department from the mortgage lender would not approve of her getting modification. Now, if you've got a mortgage and you're in default, it means you're behind. You're waiting on the bank to allow the modification. Not everyone is getting the modification. So what do you need to do? You may have to be like my client and sell the property. She walks away with $140,000 in her bank account. Had it wired directly, and she said, I got my money. Now, granted, you don't have the home, Granted, they're having to move out as we speak. And, we got them 10 days to move out. They got their money, found them a rental. They're going to get into the rental. And 1 year, she can come back. You just got to pay off some debt, get your score to at least that 580, 600. And guess what? You got the same job. So don't, it's the saddest part of all is that as black people, sometimes we hold on. We just can't let go. We just, oh my God, you're not going to die because you had to let go of your home. Talked to a gentleman yesterday on my phone call time that I'm calling for people like this. He said, I don't want to sell my home. I'm like, if you don't get the modification, they're going to take your home. If you can't catch up that $80,000, you're in default. Maybe you're at $30,000. You might be at $15,000. If you can't catch up that $15,000 default, then you need to consider selling it. You've borrowed from everyone, and every month that you don't pay that default, it includes your next month's mortgage, plus the late fee. So it's getting higher. You're getting deeper in debt. It's taking more from the profit that you possibly could receive from the equity in the home. So listen, put pride to the side. Let's do this. Let's sell the property. Be like the lady. I got a $140,000 check. Guess what? She loved her home, but she understood the bank just wouldn't allow the modification. Now, it happens. You're not the first, you're not the last. But don't wait. Don't procrastinate, because after 90 days, you're starting to get letters. After 120 days, you'll start getting notices. The default may start the election for sale. The election for sale means they very well possibly, and I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to give you facts. The fact is, after 120 days, after 4 months, they very well could put it on the auction block and sell it. And it's not selling it from under you. They have given you ample notice. And so when I knock on your door or call you on the phone and say, hey, I can sell your home, save your equity, then we need to discuss what options. What do we need to do, Deville? Where do we go from here? At the end of the day, your information is private, but no, your information is public record. How do I know you're in default? I know every one of you, because I can go to the website. The assessor's office and the county recorder has everything. You can go to defaults, and every default in the city of Las Vegas is listed. If you're on default, you're on the list. Why are you getting phone calls? Because you're on the notice of default list. And so there are people that all we do is call notice, hey, I can help you sell. So I've gotten several who said, okay, I don't have a choice. The bank's not willing to work with me. Well, again, you made a promise when you signed initial documents for your loan that if you got in default, you understood the bank could do an election to sale. It's in your documents. We're excited to get the house sometime. We're not reading everything. But notice there was a foreclosure. You could do a foreclosure if you go into default. There's a default form you're signing. Now, they hope that you don't, because banks don't want to lose like that. Banks don't want to lose. And remember, they want the interest on the money, right? Because they're loaning you somebody's money that they're giving interest on. So when you default, guess what that means? They're not getting the interest, but they're having to pay back to the investors. So the banks don't want the property. They want the interest. So again, if we can help you at Deville, contact me at 702-349-0162. Contact me directly, 702-349-0162. Now, don't let your house go into foreclosure. Now, if you want to sell your home and you say, you know what, Deville, I want to use my equity in my home to get into a home that, I'm really comfortable with. I have a friend, he's got a 6-bedroom. His wife unfortunately passed away. He said, Deville, she wanted all his house. I really didn't want all his house. He said, now guess what? I'm left with all this house. He says, I could really use a single story. I had knee surgery. He said, I could really use a single story. So now we're looking at selling the house. The sale of the house and all the proceeds as far as equity that's there. He probably has about $400,000. They've been there for years. He probably has $400,000. You know what he could do with the 4? He could qualify for a home for 6, put 4 on it, and mortgage $200,000. Right? That's the benefit of using your equity towards buying your next home, is that you're going to only finance. I sold a house to a lady. She bought a $500,000 home, put 3 on it. She put $350 on it, and she only financed $150,000. Guess what that did? That kept her monthly pay. She was retired. Her payments were very low. I think she's right about $980 a month. She said, "This is good for me." She said, "I don't need the $350. See, I need to put that on the house." You didn't lose the $350. It's in the house. And if you ever needed anything, just go to the house, go to Taylor, go to your credit union. You have it in the house. If you needed anything, go get it from yourself. That's the advantage to home ownership. That's what your landlord is doing. I know you don't want to believe it. I know you think he's just letting you pay the mortgage. No, he's not. He's taking every advantage. That guy owns property, and he owns a few more here in Vegas. You just don't know about it, right? So when you pay down the mortgage, you give me more equity. More equity I get, the more I can do something else. It's not that you need to know what I'm doing, but just know you're allowing me to do something else, and then I go do it on your dime, and then let you pay the new loan off. This is where it's at. So now if we want to get you in position, put you in the pilot seat, let you fly around, and let you look at what you like, so you can get what you like and let someone else pay it off. Now we talk about solar. Now let's talk about NV Energy for a moment, because NV Energy increase is on the way. Now this summer, the bills, I got a phone call. My friend told me, Deville, man, I got $1,000 bill for 1 month. He said, "It's just me and the wife live here." He said, "Man, I don't even have a big house, man. He said, "But it went up, man. It's $1,000. I said, "Brother, I've been telling you, man, you need to get like me. Get that solar panel, $200 a month, period. I don't care how much NV go up. I'm using solar. I'm on the energy, baby, and I want to see you do it." Text the word solar to me, 702-349-0162. Let me help you get the solar on your home. Now, I'm working with the guys that are doing the One Solar Company, right? Now, the One Solar Company is sitting out. They come out, listen, no upfront cost. No cost upfront at all. And the benefit is it increases the home value, and you get that tax incentive up to $15,000 that you can apply. Watch this. You can apply it towards the principal of the solar loan. So my loan is 53, put the 15 on it, bring it down to 30, whatever, right? So guess what? That's the plan. But if you decide, when the plan gets here and you decide to use the 30 to do, the 15 to do something, you could do that and leave it where it's at, right? Just leave it where it's at. So the benefits, let's always talk about benefits, because nobody does anything without the benefit of something. You bought that pretty shiny car. The benefit is I can get where I want to go and I can look good doing it, baby. Is that right? That's the benefit. You didn't buy an old beat down, raggedy. No, you bought something make you look good and get you where you need to be on time without the drama and the hassle. But the hassle and the drama is making that payment every month, even on the months that things get a little hectic. But you still manage to make the payment, and you still look good, and you're getting where you want to go. Is that right? That's it. That's it. Listen, 702-349-0162. Text the word solar. I want to talk to you because solar is important right now as NV Energies are increasing their energy costs. I know your bill this summer has been high, isn't it? So I'm expecting to hear from more of you about that solar, about getting. Listen, no upfront cost. Did I say free 99? Man, look, I was amazed. He said no upfront cost. I'm like, really? And I thought, if I could sell homes and solar, I could really help the community. I'm helping you save on energy. I'm helping you save by what? Getting equity. Equity and energy. That's what Deville is about. Creating wealth in the community. I need you to share this video. Share this with somebody that you know is in that predicament. They've been complaining about a high bill, but they own their home. Let's talk about your business, your place of business. If you own the building that your place of business or your place of worship, your church, they're buying their building. You guys can get solar on your church buildings as well. If you're buying the building that you have currently for your business or your ministry, solar, no upfront cost, nothing's changing. Let's get a free quote. Worst case scenario, just get a free quote compared to where you are now. Compare what the monthly is going to be having solar compared to the inconsistency of what NV Energy does. NV Energy is inconsistent. They consistently rise, but it's inconsistent on fair, right? But they're constantly increasing. constantly. It's going up in cost. So what do? You allow yourself to get into solar because you're purchasing your home. Now, you can ask the landlord, would he allow you to get solar? But it wouldn't be for you. It would be for his property. Now, on his property, he would have you pay the bill because you're using the energy. But the bill is consistent every month. Whatever that is, if it's $127, it's a year round. No more. Guess what? Because if you wait, and then guess what NV Energy does? Now your bill is $127 a month. That's just for 3 months. That's just November, December, January. What about when you start turning on the AC? Well, that changes again. But if you do solar, it's consistent year round. You don't have to worry about it ever going up, going down. I mean, my God, my winter bill was $420 for February. I'm thinking, man, what happened? Increase. That's right, increase. That's what NV Energy is doing. They're doing increase. So if you want to cut out the increase, cut out the inconsistency with the numbers of NV Energy, contact me. Text me directly. Text the word solar to 702-349-0162. I'm going to send you a link. With that link, you just go in there. It's real basic information. It's going to be sent over to the back office where they're going to build you a design roof. You're going to get I need your email, your phone number, your address, and I need you to snapshot a copy of the bill with the kilowattage. The KW, you'll see KW, kilowatt. I need that to see how much usage. That's what they're telling me. Said Deville, they have to send us. We got to know how much usage you are using, right? The average of what you're using. Then we could say, okay, based on that, you need this many panels to cover what you're using. So if you're using 7,000 kilowatts a month, they need to be able to say, this is what we need to manage this house. This is how many panels it would take to cover. So you're buying the panels, getting rid of NV Energy. You're going to buy panels now and simply use that. Now you will get a $13 NV bill. That's just for the connection to NV Energy. But now you're using what? Solar energy. But you are getting a bill from the solar company because you're buying the panels in replacement of the NV Energy, who is inconsistent in cost, because there's a winter number, then there's a summer number. In solar, there's one number. Whether summer or winter, it's one number. And that's what we want to continue to drive home, is having solar is taking the guesswork out of what next month's bill will look like. Well, I want to thank you today. We're running out of time here. I'm going to do a simple recap for someone that's just tuning in. I want to let you know again, as Miss Alicia Taylor mentioned to us, is you can do a second on your home. Watch this. The second can go up to 90% loan, 90% of the appraised value. They will have to do a new appraisal. You have to do a loan application. If you're interested, call me. I'll set you up with Miss Taylor, 702-349-0162. I'll connect you so that you can connect the dots. Look at, and she mentioned that you can do with W-2s. For those of you that are self-employed, you could buy a home with bank statements only. Bank statements only. So if you're self-employed, they can look at your bank statement. Remember this, and we didn't get to talk because our time was limited, but when you're self-employed, if you're a cash business, we need you to deposit all of your cash into the bank. If you're a restaurant, if you're a mobile caterer, you're a nail tech, you're a barber, whatever it is you do, and you deal with cash, you need to deposit that. The Cash App, deposit the Cash App. Don't just spend it from the Cash App link. Deposit it. Hit cash out, and it goes into the account. Once you send it to the account, it shows as income. That's why Taylor is saying we can use your bank statement. What does your bank statement consist of? It consists of your deposits. Now, let's say you got a bill to pay for, let's say your rent. Okay, so you got your rent money, let's say it's $2,200, but you gathered it in cash. I need you to make that cash into a deposit, because we can account it as a deposit, which shows your income. Now, once you deposit that money, watch this, you can take the money right back out. It's the deposits they want to see. They're not asking about the cash out. It's the deposit. So make sure everything that you're doing, you're depositing into the account so we can account for it. Got me? If you got any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me. 702-349-0162. It's all about the deposit. Don't forget, I need you to take every dime you make. I don't care if you need gas in the car. And you know gas, I fill up my car, I'm at 110. But I'm using it from the debit card of the business, right? Because the business pays for expenses. But now, if I were working in the cash business, because when checks coming into the real estate company, they come in the form of a check to Deville Realty. Then I write myself a check to pay myself. But the money's going to the account. So now Deville Realty accounts for everything through the deposits, which allows for the loan. So as the owner of the company, we can use those deposits to proof of income. All right, so that's a lesson to learn for you, Mr. Barbara, Miss Nail Tech, Miss Barbara, whatever you do, deposit that money. They can use your deposits to make the loan happen. So you can stop moving from here to there because the landlords keep selling or the landlord want to go up and you really don't want to pay for what. Listen, sometimes it's easier to stay and pay for what. You know what, I looked at someone, so when I sell your home, and because you were in default, we do a pre-foreclosure sale, as I was speaking on a moment ago. I will also help you find a rental. And so in my quest to help find the rental for the tenant for the owner, I had to sell the home because, again, not all banks are allowing the modification. So if you can't get the modification, let's just sell it. At least you can take $100,000. She got $140,000. The other lady got $82,000. Whatever you get, use that money wisely. Pay off some debt. You can buy within. Keep at least $60,000 of that dollars. Pay off your bills. Take a little trip, about $2,000. Chill out. You finally got that debt off your back. That monkey been growling on you, riding your back. Listen, go take it. Can we do that? Let's take a little time off. Don't spend a lot of money on it because we got a plan. We're going to stay focused on the plan. What's the plan? The plan is I'm going to go buy me another house next year because I got to rent for 1 year. But then in that 10th month, I'm going to automatically reach out to you. Say, okay, we're at the 10th month. Let's get you pre-qualified. You still got that $60,000 sitting there. We're going to use that $60,000 towards the down payment and closing costs towards your purchase. Right? Now you're getting into a house where you can afford. You got behind. It happened. COVID, nobody saw this coming. So let's deal with it the best we can. You got behind, the mortgages, whatever the case. Let's make it happen. So again, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, the name you need to know right here in the Valley. Taylor gave us some good information on today. Let's walk that thing out. Let's make this thing happen. Let's stop paying off another man's mortgage. My daddy would say, from the sweat of your brow. Paying somebody mortgage from what? All the work you're doing, you paying somebody else off. No, let's benefit ourselves. And like I mentioned to you, Taylor was telling us, do that second mortgage. Keeping that first one at that low interest rate, doing a second on the equity, taking that equity, go buy another property. Preferably an investment, not a house. It's not an investment. That's paying for itself. We're talking about residual income where you buy that second and it's paying the mortgage and you're getting the cut, right? It's paying the mortgage and you're getting a check too. When you buy a fourplex, that's the benefit. When you buy a house, it basically is going to pay for itself. Now, you can buy a home. You may want to put your mom in the house, right? You may want to buy another home for you. Use the equity out of that home. Take that equity. Now you can let mom rent this house, right? I mean, somebody's got to pay the mortgage. If mom has to pay the mortgage. Now, again, because on that type of loan, you have to have a tenant that's paying the mortgage, which frees you up from paying that mortgage, which gives you the capital to go to the next property. Okay, so keep in mind, these are all the benefits that are available to who? To homeowners, which is what I talk. Homeowners creating wealth through equity. Well, the engineer's looking at me upside my head. She said, Deville, I don't care where you're going from here, but you got to get up out of this spot. There's somebody tuning in next right here at Power at 702.5 FM. This is what we do every Thursday, 3 to 4 p.m. I'm here to talk to you about great information live on Facebook. Do me a favor. Share this with someone. Share this information. Share this page. And again, have them text me. If you want solar, I want to give you a free quote. No upfront cost to have solar. Text the word solar. 702-349-0162. Text the word solar. I want to be able to send you this link where you can do the simple application with a copy of your kilowattage bill showing the kilowatt, how many watts you're using, so that we can give you a quote of how many panels you need and how much it would cost to have that many panels. Now remember, you're not going to get an NV Energy. You're doing away with it. You're getting solar. So again, text the word solar, 702-349-0162. I'm Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. So glad to be here with you on this Thursday afternoon. It's been fun. Gotta go, and I'll talk to you next week right here, 702.5 FM. Until then, may God's best be yours. Take care.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself.